Hey guys, just a reminder, this is not official medical advice. For such, please seek an appointment with a licensed medical provider. Bo, what's up?
What's up, man? How are
I
you?
am wonderful. Today it's the day. I'm calling this the first episode of a brand new segment on Performance Medicine TV called "Keep It Simple, Stupid."
I love it.
You and I have had a couple conversations about this. How what we do. Integrative medicine, functional medicine. Sometimes it could be super complex and overwhelming, and it causes a lot of paralysis by analysis. And I think you're the guy to break this all down for us into actionable, simple steps so that people can get on that road to getting healthy, whatever that looks like. And episode 1, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah. I I'm the self-proclaimed meathead of the group, I think. I've always kind of thought that way, and kind of whatever kind of medicine I was doing is like I may know the intricacies of some things, but it's always big picture,
Yeah.
right? And if you look at the big picture, then it's kind of it does. It's like this is let's start simply,
Yeah.
okay? And how do I start from simple? And now, as you know, in the social media world, and I think a lot of our patients are get a lot of information from social media. We put stuff on social media right
Yeah.
now. Um, Performance medicine post stuff. I post stuff on my page. Me and my buddy are doing stuff on our little YouTube channel,
Yep.
and it's a lot of information. And how do you pick it apart? And you have people that plant their flags on such and such hill, and you're like, well, he says you can't ever have that, or they say that this is the worst thing in the world, or they say that you can't start nothing without this, or whatever that may be. And people get stuck in the mud,
Yep.
and you don't ever get started. And starting what is, I think we're talking about just health and wellness in
Yep.
general. And then, I mean, and it's good to get in the weeds sometimes about things. It's great information, like Robin's thyroid thing she just did the other
Yes.
day.
Incredible.
Wonderful information. And if you have thyroid disease, it breaks it down to kind of let you know what numbers are. Some of the wording and some of the things may be kind of, and that's okay, but you have a reference point that you can get your labs done, and you can kind of re-listen to that, and you can, well, okay, what does that mean again? What's optimal? What's this mean? And that's good because that's a very small portion of total body wellness, right? So, and kind of what I'm going to talk about today is just wellness in general. Like, how are you making that first step? And the first step is what? Nutrition.
I was gonna ask you, like, where do we, where's the very first step forward? I think nutrition too. Let's unpack that. What do you mean by that?
Like, so uh, you can't eat your way out of your kitchen, or you can't outwork your kitchen. So you can go to the gym and bust your butt. I see it every day. But like if you ain't doing the right things in the kitchen, and what I mean by that is what are you putting in your mouth? You're not going to get the results you want.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit like starting out new, brand new to working out things. You're going to make some gains. A lot of people are calling them newbie
Yep.
gains, and you're going to feel better. But when you kind of you're going to hit a wall, and you're not going to get the results. You're going to look at somebody else like, dang, what are they doing? And it's probably what they are doing is not what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Because you may be working out harder than they are, you may be trying to get after it harder than they are, but their nutrition is better. So, and then you go down these diets: carnivore, keto, Mediterranean. Used to be a South Beach, all kinds of quote unquote diets. We talk a lot about protein here. I've talked a lot about protein. I just listened to another episode with this PhD the other day. He didn't give a whole lot of information, but he gave some that I took away. And and there's a thing that I kind of tell people is like, just prioritize your protein. That's the thing that we've never talked about before since all the time growing up through the food pyramid, now to my plate, now to who knows what they're going to come out with. But it's always been about fats and carbs, right? Always been fats and carbs, and protein's been lost, and protein is the source that we should focus.
And one thing I'll add there, Bo, is because I've kind of struggled with this my whole life in terms of like what should I be doing, what should I be eating. You also hear eat your veggies, and it wasn't until I've been talking with you a lot about this. I've talked with Robin, our nutrition coach, Lucas Schmidt, and protein. Like I've never used that as like the first step, but I think that's exactly right. Starting with the protein. Can you keep elaborating on that? That's perfect.
So, and what I tell patients is, too, this is what's hard about protein. This is the hardest part about all of this, and this is why I like it's keep it simple, stupid, right? But you have to prep. We live in a grab and go society. Like everything is quick and easy. Let me grab this bagel, right? Let me grab this, and because I'm out the door eating my breakfast. When breakfast or your first meal is probably the most. Breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. It's your first meal is the most
I
important
love
meal
that.
of the day.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be breakfast, but so because prepping a breakfast that's in large amounts of protein, 30 to 50 grams of protein, and that's kind of what I've seen has been a set standard for adults to stop breakdown of muscle. So keeping it simple. How do you do that? If it's a grab and go thing to where like you need that you do eat in the morning before work or on the way to work, you're gonna have to use like a protein shake. And you have to be careful with those because some of those can be loaded with carbs. So prioritizing your protein, focusing on the protein amounts of that 30 to 50 grams in that first meal. And, everybody talks about this, a gram per pound. It's a good ballpark, but if you don't hit that, that doesn't mean you fail. Okay. And the biggest things I've seen is 30 to 50 grams in the first meal and the last meal of the day. First meal and last meal of the day. So prep those first meal and last meals of the day. The rest, snacks, lunch, all those other things, or whatever you call lunch or anything like that, is filling the gaps of trying to get some extra protein in there. Whether that be, oh, I'm going to have a hamburger patty for midday snack, or I'm going to have some beef sticks. or some nuts or things like that. And as you can tell, what I'm not talking about is carbohydrates. I'm not going to go there yet. And this is just a really simple way. And are you going to have to start looking at labels? Yes. I had a tendency for probably a lot of years to not, because I did that as a younger kid, probably had a little bit of an issue with that. So I've really steered away from that. And now I've kind of gotten back to it, but I've made it a healthier thing.
Yeah.
So prioritize your protein. Again, keeping it simple. Prioritize protein all day long. And if you start doing this and you start looking at labels and figuring out how much do I get with this or how much do I get with that, you'll get to a point where you don't have to count it all anymore, because you'll just kind of have a random estimation.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some people that get people to count their macros for them and all this stuff. That's okay. But once you get involved in it and you start seeing results and it makes you feel better, you're going to want to do that. So like I said, keeping it simple, prioritize protein. And if you're a vegan, vegetarian, it's really hard. You got to be really smart, way smarter than me, to do it right, to keep those carbs down. But you can do it. But if you do eat meat, animal-based protein, very dense, go with that. Again, the prep, the work, that's where the work is. Okay.
So two things there, Bo, that that was a perfect kind of where to start. This is where to start right here. Two things that I observations are, if you start with protein, one thing, protein fills you up, so you're going to be less hungry. And the second thing that I've experienced in my own life when trying to count carbs as like my first go-to move is that I have that feeling, and I don't know if you're the same or not. I hate feeling like I can't do something or I have to hold back, or
Yeah.
whereas the way you're talking about this is like race to that 30 to 50 grams. So that to me is like exciting. Like, oh, I get to eat, versus like, oh my gosh, I gotta somehow get less than 60 carbs today. That's super intimidating.
So it kind of goes against a little bit of the calorie is king mindset. Um, if you want to lose weight by counting calories, what's going to happen? You're going to be hungry,
Yeah.
and you're going to fail. And this is setting you up to not fail. And I'll get to that, to how you're not going to fail and why you're not going to fail, and a little bit of the science behind it. And that'll be the part where, keeping it simple, there's a little bit of
Sure.
something going on there behind it. So that's number one, prioritizing that protein and getting dense, healthy protein. Because so in the segue into the other part of it is what comes along with that animal-based protein: fat. So don't. Another guy uses a lot of this terminology, and I'm not trying to steal it, but I just feel like he just says it really well. Don't fear your fat.
I love that.
Don't fear it. Like, we have been scared to death of fat, saturated fat, red meat, all these things. Like, it's kind of shenanigans.
Yeah. I agree.
You want to get meat from good sources, yes, if possible. But then again, that's still out there in the realm of like, oh my gosh, I can't eat this because so and so says that. Like, we're starting out. This is our baby steps. Okay, this is our baby steps into trying to improve and how you're going to see results. So prioritizing your protein. Don't fear the fat that comes along with it, because you need the fat. You need it because that's your energy source. That lets your proteins be used for specific things like maintaining muscle. And then your body gets to use the fats for energy. Okay? So, and then you get it, then you kind of go into what's our next one? The ones that like we eat too much of, and we do need to kind of minimize those, is our carbohydrates.
Yeah.
But if you're eating your proteins, getting your fat, very satiating, you're not going to be as hungry. And then if you just count your carbs, understand what's going on. So and when you're eating your carbohydrates should be this: your veggies that you were just talking about, because that's what vegetables are. They're carbohydrates. And some of those are really good, especially come from a fiber source. Okay, so that fiber source is going to help slows down your glycemic spikes. So, and then eat your fruits. Don't drink them.
I like that.
Eat them.
Yeah.
Because a glass of orange juice, just as I was talking to a patient just a minute ago, I love my orange juice. I said, no. I said, eat an orange. If you feel like you've got to have that, eat the orange. Because you know how many oranges are probably in that small glass of orange juice? A ton. And it's loaded with sugar.
Yep.
Loaded with sugar. At least when you're eating the orange, you have kind of this matrix of things that kind of slow down those glucose spikes and things. Sorry, not keeping it simple. So, so prior that protein's number one. You get that. Fat comes with that if it's animal-based protein, or your dairies, high fat dairy. Get the full fat yogurts. Get the full fat milk. Don't be thinking skim milks. No. That the things that have been ingrained in your brain, retrain it. Get the full fat, because you're going to have less carbs. And I'll get to why this is important. So prioritize protein. Fat comes with it. You need it for energy. It's good for your brain. That energy is good for your brain. And if you can get into some ketosis, like keto diet kind of stuff, it's actually really enhancing for your brain. It's very hard. I don't think I've ever been in it, actually. I haven't really felt that
I
before.
haven't either. I haven't been in full ketosis.
No,
One just
I haven't checked it before, but I just don't think I've gotten there.
yeah.
And count your carbs. Lately, I don't think people understand how many carbs they actually eat, even if they think they are low carb. I don't believe it. I first of all, I can see it, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say that in the room, but I can see it. And carbs are in everything, and you'll look down like, well, there was 15 carbs in that, and after a couple meals, oh, that's a lot, and it just keeps adding up. So I've been telling people, it's like, hey, if they're not diabetic or something like that, like, hey, shoot for like under 100, because the typical American is eating 300 plus a
Oh,
day,
I believe it.
300 something grams a day, easily,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
So and you know, if you stick to those things and start learning what's in certain foods, and you start feeling better. And the personal experience for me, we just went on vacation last week, fall break, to the
You look
beach.
very tan, by the way.
There was I kind of hated it a little bit, because in the back of my brain I'm thinking about the foods that I want to eat, but I'm also like, I don't really want all that bread. I do, but I know what it's going to do to me.
Yeah.
And that's after you've made these gains.
Yeah.
So to put why this is your beginning. This is your total beginning of starting to start wellness is protein, protein, protein. Eat your fats. It's fine. You need it for energy, and count your carbs. That's it. Period.
Yeah.
Period. It doesn't need to be a specific diet. Doesn't need to be, don't weigh your foods. None of this stuff. And when I tell people that are like overweight and trying to get healthy, don't count your calories. Don't worry about it. Because I want you to be satiated. I want you, but this is the process to start with, because there's a science behind it. But that's the part I want everybody to get, is just that,
Yeah.
because I don't want you to be hungry. I want you to succeed, and I want you to like the food that you're eating. It's just a different way of eating. Some of that sugar stuff, you're going to have a little bit of, oh, I really want that. But anyway, once you get past a certain level and you start feeling better, that'll take care of itself. So, reason why this is important is because what do we want to get rid of? Are excessive fats, especially like visceral fats and things like that. So when we eat a lot of carbohydrates, our glucose goes up. Carbohydrates is in potatoes, fruits, vegetables, all the things, and all the other sweet stuff that we like, sugars. So glucose levels go up, insulin level goes up,
Yeah.
right? Because insulin helps support glucose, gets it out of the system. This is my not so simple. This is just the pathways behind it. So, and we decrease the carbs, and then what happens? Insulin comes down. Insulin talks to fat cells. Okay. So insulin levels up, talks to fat cells, say, hey, I got a lot of easy energy to use here. Stow you away. Pack you on. Keep it for a rainy day when I might need you.
Yeah.
So stores fat. Stores fat. So glucose, carbs, store fat. Store fat, store fat. Insulin levels come down, decreasing amount of carbohydrates intake, talks to fat cells, insulin levels down. Hey, I need energy. Can you give me some energy? Burning fat. Burning fat. So that's why I say don't fear fat. Fat will help you. Um, so that's the main kind of objective. So you decrease those insulin levels and you will burn. And I hear people talk about, like, start to work out, my glycogen scores, my glycogen storage and everything to get the big pump on. Most of us aren't Mr. Olympia. Okay. So, like, it just depends on where you are.
Yeah.
And this is just what I'm talking about, the beginning of the journey. Now, if you've been halfway almost bodybuilder and you're getting after, yeah, you're gonna have to start thinking about stuff. This is the general public.
Yeah.
This is, I am taking the step, or I need to really get with it. So um, that's kind of nutrition in a simple box. And the other, like the counter calorie things, and like I may have said it on other shows. I don't remember. All calories aren't weighed the same. You eat protein, 25% of that is getting burned in digestion.
Yeah.
Fats, not so much. You kind of, a lot of that energy is used. I think about 5 to 10% of carbs may be burned during digestion or something like that. But it's one of those things to where there's some people that hang their hat on calorie is king. I don't. I think it's more important for you to um, eat your foods, and just kind of watch how things will change if as you decrease that insulin level going down that pathway. I think that's your biggest start as far as that goes.
Bo, I absolutely love this perspective. I love keep it simple. A quick thing that I loved in what you just said there was counting your carbs. One, because if you track anything, it's just a healthy thing to do. If there's anything to track the carbs. I love that. And you mentioned all around there as to why that's helpful. One, I think people just need to realize how many carbs they're eating. It's
Yeah.
good to know.
It's crazy. It really will be eye opening if you really look at it. You're like, "Ah," and it'll make you start thinking,
Yeah.
like, do I really want to eat that piece of bread?
Yeah.
So, I mean, another thing I tell patients a lot too. This is kind of simple, like but it's not, but it is. It's a simple process, but it's hard to break this. So, how you eat.
Okay.
And what's your process of eating? Like, and our society, again, sets us up to fail. You go out to eat, what comes to your table first?
Bread.
Bread and drink.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to Mexican, your beer, chips, and salsa.
Yes.
So it's all carbs, all carbs. So that, in that process alone, glucose spikes up. If you hold off, and even at home, if you eat your proteins and your proteins and things like that first of all, you're going to get full, and you're not going to eat as much else. But then you've already set your stomach up. Like, everything's there, things are working. You know, there might be some carbs in there, a little bit of glucose spike, but everything's slowing down. Then you have a little bit of those carbs.
Yep.
Doesn't digest like that. So it decreases that glucose spike. So decreases that insulin again. It might go up a little bit, but it's going to come back down.
So when you say how you eat, you're talking about the order in which you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, you go out to eat somewhere, that bread comes to the table. You may be hungry, but if you can just wait, eat your food that you've ordered first, like your proteins and your fats and things like that. Then if you want that piece of bread, have that piece of bread.
Yeah. Well,
It'll help you in the long run, or you may be full enough to where you're like, I don't really want that. That's the other part. I think that I've noticed it with myself. I think as Americans, um, we enjoy the feeling of being full. So we have to get to a point to where we eat to where we're not hungry, not to the point to where we eat till we're full. Now, with all the protein that you're going to eat, you may feel full, and I like the feeling of full. I'll admit it. I do. I think it's there's something satisfying about that. But if you can get to that point to where you're getting those protein amounts that I was talking about, and you're still not hungry, but stopping before you're full.
honestly, Bo, I think that's pretty profound because I think that we actually like the feeling of not being hungry more than the feeling of being full. I think we think that the feeling of full is that first indicator that we're not hungry anymore.
Absolutely.
And
Like I heard somebody say this. This was great. They say that we have been eating for hibernation for decades, and hibernation never comes.
yes. One other thing I'll add is just a story from my personal experience that just affirms what you're saying is, and we've talked about this because I like drinking beer. It's always been something that I like doing. But recently, over the last year or so, I found myself at night thinking more about how I wanted to sleep versus like, oh, one more drink, one more beer sounds really good. But then I'll start to think, man, then I'm not going to sleep well, and then tomorrow's going to be, kind of sucky. So I'm drinking less beer by focusing on, I really want to sleep well tonight. And then all of a sudden, I'm very motivated to, not have alcohol. Whereas, in the past, it's been, it's very it's habitual for me, it's social for me. But it's just changing kind of what you think about and what is what's the goal, and sleep has become more important to me, just because I hate not sleeping well, and most of the time I can bring it back to like having too many beers.
Well, I mean, I enjoy a good beer occasionally as well, sure. But, I will say this, like, again, just got back from the beach, and I will say this is probably the least amount of beers I've had at the beach, and I can't tell you how many years.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was one of those things too, is like, it's because I was thinking about all the calories and things like that are in them, and carbohydrates, and that, like, do I really want that? And I would always prep it, just like I was talking about. I'd always have good amount of proteins and things like that for lunch, dinner, before I had it.
And then you're like, I can't even have more than one beer.
Yeah. Or I just didn't want it.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is, when you go on vacations, you like to have kind of the local flavors of their craft beer or whatnot, and those things are like loaded with stuff. And I kind of steered clear of them.
Yeah.
If I had one, I just had what I would have at home.
Yeah. So interesting.
It was different. And I think it's because since I've started here, I have made lots of gains, lots of improvements. But a lot of it's just from learning.
Yeah.
Learning how to manipulate your body into what you want. And it's not, it becomes to where it's not vanity. It's because of what you feel better, and where you want to be, and what's the example do you want to be for your kids, and am I leading that? Because I think that's the most important thing.
No doubt. Bo, keep it simple. I love this.
All right,
dude. Great
right.
First episode.
So just recap: keeping it simple, stupid, easy peasy. Proteins. Don't fear your fat. And start looking at the carbohydrates that you're eating, and thinking about your first meals and your last meals. 30 to 50 grams of protein. Stop that breakdown of muscle. Really stimulate those muscles in just your diet alone. Especially important as we age.
Yep.
Especially important. So
keep it simple.
That's it.
All right.
Keep it simple.
All right, brother.
We'll do more of these. I want to get to like why maybe. What is stopping us from getting out the door and start moving, start working out? What's holding us back, and keeping it simple?
I love it. Bo, I appreciate you, brother.
All right. See
you guys.
Don't go away.